Hello and welcome to the first EFL review of the new channel. This will be weekly, as I have said in the previous Premier League predictions video for League One and Championship. The Premier League one will be out tomorrow on Monday, so keep tuned for that. So let's get cracking. So we'll start in League One with the half-12 kickoffs, and then we'll make our way into the Championship after doing the League One. So first game, Reading against Birmingham, 0-0 draw, very good result for Reading, good point against top of the table, my team, Birmingham. Dykes missed an absolute sitter. I'm not sure how he didn't score, to be honest. Birmingham probably were slightly the better team in this one, but Reading put up a good fight, had a good few shots, good few saves from Allsop as well, the Birmingham goalkeeper, from a good header from Nibs, I think it was, and then Warehouse, when he came on, was an absolute nightmare to deal with for us. Sloppy performance, our players looked a bit knackered. Keshi Anderson, brilliant again, as he always has done. He looked a bit injured when he came off at the end. Sad news that Scott Wright also went off injured in the 9th minute for us. That is not going to be good for Tuesday and Saturday next week when we've taken on Leyton Orient and Wickham. As for Reading, good point. Keeps their playoff push alive under their not new head coach. He's been there a while, since Ruben Sellers has left for Hull because they don't have any money and they can't appoint a new coach. Good for a team with no money. They're very good. I think they'll be solid and they can keep a solid foundation for next season, because I don't think they'll get playoffs. But if they do get the right owners, I'm sure we'll see Reading back in the Championship very, very soon. So yeah, poor result, poor game, 0-0. Birmingham stay top as Wickham have drew today. So yeah, that's a good result. And Reading will move on to their next game, which is against, I believe, it's against Wigan next Saturday at 3 o'clock, which they'll be looking and targeting and winning that one. So it will be interesting to see that game pan out next week. Next is Rotherham 0, Barnsley 1, a penalty from Phillips separating the two sides in this league, with Barnsley having the second best midfield in the league after Birmingham. They looked really good value for their win because all of their players have averaged over 7 on FootMob, which is very good, and the defence was very good as well, because Rotherham had the chances. They had the chances to win this game, Rotherham, if you look at the stats, but so did Barnsley, both creating big chances, but both of them did miss it. But Barnsley took the advantage from the Rotherham United penalty, so that is a big win for Barnsley. They will move up to 10th. I think they stayed where they were. I think they were 11th, but they have moved slightly up to 10th due to a team losing or drawing today. So they will keep their playoff charge, or slim playoff charge, in hope. But it's pretty much long gone now. I mean, Leyton Orient, Charlton and Bolton all have better run-ins than they will over the course of this season. So it's interesting. Could Barnsley maybe get in the playoffs? Probably not. Top two's definitely long gone now, after, if they think they were going to push for that after their good form in December. But Rotherham, yeah, all top 6 hopes gone now after their early bit of form in January. Yeah, good result for Barnsley. They'll take that. They'll move on. Hopefully this gives them a bit of momentum coming into the upcoming match against Northampton on Tuesday, as Rotherham will go to Bristol Rovers next week, and that should be a win for them, but you never know. Blackpool beat Crawley earlier on today, 3-1. Good result for them. Niall Ennis, absolute baller, by the way, bagging a brace, getting an 8.7 match rating. Blackpool were full value for their win in the end. They absolutely dominated Crawley from start to finish, really. Ashley Fletcher got a red card. You thought after the first 2 goals went in that Blackpool would struggle, but Crawley weren't good value. They were pretty poor in the end, and didn't really offer a lot after the red card, which you thought they may have done. Maybe you thought they could have got back into the game, but they didn't. Blackpool under Steve Bruce, they have been the draw mafias of this league, a bit like Charlton under Nathan Jones last season, who just drew every game. Steve Bruce has them well drilled at the back. He's got Husband and Casey, very good defenders for this league. And yeah, for Crawley, however, just didn't get going. I mean, 5 at the back is never going to work in this league, and it shows today. Doyle gets the goal with a 7.3. Match rating pretty good. Stats wise, say Blackpool had the chances. Crawley didn't miss some big chances that they could have levelled the game with, but I think Blackpool were just a bit more clinical in the final third than Crawley were. So yeah, a good win for Blackpool. That takes them up to 11th place now. Small chance of the playoffs. Crawley, yeah, look, all but down and out, don't they? And they probably will end up going down with Shrewsbury and Cambridge. Maybe Shrewsbury can stay up with Gareth Ainsworth. We'll talk about that shortly. Bolton 2, Leyton Orient 1. Good result this for Bolton. They are definitely in this playoff race under Stephen Schumacher. They look like a different side in the league under him compared to what they were with Ian Evatt. Leyton Orient, Richie Wellens doing an absolutely stellar job there. They should get in the top 6 with their recent form since the early part of this season where they were woeful, weren't they? But they seem to have really picked up in these last few games. I could see them definitely getting in the top 6 with Bolton as well. I mean, they could definitely push in there because Huddersfield and the other teams of Stockport are starting to fall off a bit. So them two teams could definitely finish in the playoffs. And at the moment, I would predict these two sides would get in the playoffs. Maybe Charlton as well, because Huddersfield and Stockport's form is absolutely dreadful right now compared to what it was at Christmas and the start of this season. So yeah, good win for Bolton. Leyton Orient won't be too displeased with that. They're still very much in the playoff race. Again, we get in the hand against Birmingham in the week, which they'll be looking to win, and I could see them doing it because our players look absolutely knackered. So Leyton Orient definitely can get in the top 6, and their fans are cheering about something at the moment because Richie Wellens is doing an incredible job. Good for Bolton, keep their top 6 hopes alive. McAtee, absolute baller. Saw a few games when he was at Grimsby and at Barnsley. He's very good. Good striker, good player. And Kelman for Leyton Orient is also very good. So both teams have very good striking options. But yeah, Bolton just have the better squad in my opinion with Morley, Ozzy Tutu and Dagus Cogley and Forrester and Johnson at the back. They're definitely the superior side. Good win for Bolton. Keeps their playoff hopes alive. Cambridge 2, Stockport 0. Cambridge keeping their very slim hopes of staying up in this division alive. I mean, they beat Stockport 2-0 today, so they would be relegated, I think, if they lost today. But they get onto 26 points, still 8 points away from safety, which is very difficult to stay up. But they were good value for money today. They were got 2 goals. Stokes with a brace, very good player. Cambridge's main man, I think, up front with Kachunga as well. Brophy also. They've got Morrison, very experienced at the back, can keep them well organised sometimes, but sometimes they are very leaky and just they aren't up to the task most of the times this season. Stockport well off it today. Connolly got sent off. Is this the downfall of Stockport in the second half of the season? We'll have to see. I mean, it's only one game, isn't it? We'll have to take a game at a time. But I think Stockport are starting to struggle, and I think we'll end up outside the playoffs overall. Good win for Cambridge. Stockport dominated the game. They missed 4 huge chances, so good win for Cambridge, but they're still probably going to go down. Charlton 3, Exeter 0. Good win for Charlton. They are back within the top 6 contention and are now level on points with Leyton Orient. Only goal difference is separating them from getting in the playoffs. Nathan Jones' side, very good value today. They put 3 past Exeter, and Exeter City are getting dragged into a relegation battle. I'm sorry to say this, but they are. They are 3 points off the drop. Their form is absolutely dreadful. Yes, 2 games in hand on Burton, 1 on Peterborough and Bristol Rovers. But I fear for them. I really do. I fear for Exeter this season. I think they could slip into the drop if they aren't careful. Gary Caldwell, is he the right man? Is he not? We'll have to wait and see over the coming weeks. Exeter have got to sort it out. They beat Cambridge. They put up a good fight against Forest, but they're in massive trouble at the bottom. Yes, a game away at Charlton isn't going to define their season, but it's going to be difficult for them to survive, I think, personally. I think they will go down. I think Peterborough will survive, and Burton will survive, and Bristol Rovers survive. I think bottom three with Crawley, Shrewsbury, Cambridge, Exeter, because the way Exeter have been in the second half of the season has been absolute dross. They are nowhere near good enough, and I think will go down. As for Charlton, better, very good. Lee Burn's getting the goals now, chipping in. Goldson up front, good experience, I guess. Not quick, but he's a good finisher. Ramsey at right back is class. I think he is one of the best right backs in the league. But yeah, good result for Charlton. They beat Exeter 3-0, and Exeter need to watch out because they might get sucked into this relegation battle. Next one is Huddersfield versus Peterborough. Big result for Peterborough. Huddersfield had no shots on target in this game. You have to start worrying for Michael Duff and Huddersfield. Could he be getting sacked soon with Huddersfield's really poor form in this league? I could see them dropping out of the playoff places at the rate they're going, but you'd expect them to pick up slowly, but no shots on target is really poor. And Cipriano's header is a good one. Was a good one, so they can progress and help themselves in this relegation race. But Peterborough should be nowhere near this relegation battle, by the way. Absolutely nowhere near with the squad they have. They should be up there competing. I remember they came to Birmingham and went 2-0 up, were really good, and then they just seemed to lose all confidence and lost 3-2 in the end. But really good result for Peterborough. Huddersfield, you have to start asking questions about Michael Duff because this is getting worrying now over what could happen. Maybe his future is in doubt. Good win for Peterborough, though. Next is another shock away win where Lincoln lost at home to Burton earlier today, where Webster got the goal in the 92nd minute, lastminute.com for Burton at the LNER Stadium. Big win for Burton to get their survival hopes very much on the upward trajectory, which is, I think Burton definitely can stay up in this league now. With the results they've been getting under new head coach Gary Bowyer, they look well drilled. They do. They look very good. And they were on par with Lincoln today. Stats show it. Possession show it. They were. The game probably should have been a draw, but Burton, you've got to give full credit to them. They were nowhere, remember, when Gary Bowyer came in. He has lifted them all the way up to potentially surviving in this league, and I think they will survive now with Exeter and Peterborough, even though Peterborough won today, and Bristol Rovers all struggling. Yeah, so I think Burton have got a very good chance of staying up in this league now. And yeah, Lincoln will just stay mid-table forever. I mean, they're not going anywhere. They're not going up. They're not going down. They're very inconsistent, like a lot of mid-table sides are. They were there or thereabouts last season, but yeah, I think Lincoln will be mid-table. Very good win for Burton, and hopefully their survival hopes have increased, which they have with this away win at Lincoln in the last minute. Northampton 2, Bristol Rovers 1. Good win for Northampton, pulls them away from the drop and gets them level on points with Wigan, actually. So they are definitely looking good, but it's now very tight at the bottom of Sky Bet League 1 with Burton winning today. Northampton getting the vital 3 points to pull them slightly further away from that drop. As for Bristol Rovers, this is a really poor loss. They have just been sucked in that little bit more after losing away at Northampton today. Scott Sinclair, ex-Man City, Celtic, Villa player, got the goal today. And Bristol Rovers should have enough to stay in this league because they have Chris Martin, Sinclair, Soteriou, Hutchinson in the CDM. They'll have enough, Bristol Rovers. Northampton should have enough still. They've got quality players that used to play in the Championship, of course. Fosu, Tyler Roberts, who's injured at the moment from Birmingham. Pinnock's good, scored away when he played Birmingham. They played Birmingham, sorry. Taylor and Shaw also very good players in the midfield. So is Hoskins. He's been there absolutely centuries. Sam Hoskins at Northampton Town. So yeah, both these sides, in my opinion, will stay up quite comfortably. They've got the players, got the experience. Chris Martin and Hoskins and Fosu for both sides combined. I think both these sides will be absolutely fine to stay up. Good result for Northampton though. they'll be happy. They pull away from the relegation race. Shrewsbury 0, Stevenage 1. Poor result for Shrewsbury. That really, Ainsworth might keep them up, but yeah, they're in a lot of bother now with Burton getting the win today as well, and Peterborough getting the win, and Northampton pulling away. Yeah, you worry for Shrewsbury, but they created more shots. They were better team in this game by the looks of the stats, and yeah, Stevenage obviously 8th minute own goal, probably got a bit lucky. Possession was 50-50. I mean, they didn't really create a lot. Stevenage only had the 6 shots all game compared to Shrewsbury's 10. But yeah, Stevenage 12th mid-table. That's where they'll be for this season. So good result, good away win, and they move on. Wycombe 0, Wigan 0. Final game of League One before we head into the Championship. Mansfield Wrexham will be later in the review, as that was a Sunday game and I have recorded it later. So Wycombe should have won this game. They had the chances, they had the stats, they had everything. Wigan are just very low block. They're very good defensively. Can frustrate you, really frustrate you, after what I saw in August with Birmingham when they played us, and thankfully we got a last minute winner. Wasn't the case for Wycombe today. They missing Richard Kone, their main striker, just like Birmingham, and missing Jay Stansfield. Kone is their main source of goals. That's not really going to change anything, because if Wycombe, they probably can't catch Birmingham, and their fans probably don't think they're going to catch Birmingham. So good points, keep ahead of Wrexham, and now they just need Mansfield to do them a favour tomorrow. And yeah, Wycombe should get second place comfortably, I think, behind Birmingham and in front of Wrexham. So yeah, I think the top 3 are certain in this league now, and they'll be absolutely fine to get automatic promotion. Will Wycombe with Birmingham for this season, and then the playoffs is probably Wrexham, and then Stockport, Huddersfield, Leyton Orient, Charlton and Bolton will duel it out. That is League One done. Let's move into Championship. Into the Championship we go, and we will start with Friday night's games, which is Bristol City 2, Middlesbrough 1. Good win for Bristol City. They're now 2 points off the playoffs. They are performing at an excellent rate at the moment. They are only 2 points away from Blackburn, 1 point away from Coventry, so they are in that playoff hunt for this season. I'm waiting for their drop-off in form, because they are just generally a mid-table side in the Championship and usually never go anywhere, so it'd be nice to see them get in the playoffs. Don't think they'll go up if they do get in the playoffs, though. As for Middlesbrough, Michael Carrick is probably going to get the sack very soon, down to 13th after being in a good playoff position earlier on in the season. They have dropped all the way down to 13th, level on points with Queen's Park Rangers. Not very good for Middlesbrough. Stats-wise, Bristol City were dominant, pretty much 21 shots to 11. All 4 big chances, 2 were missed, of course, 2 went in. Middlesbrough missed 1 as well. But I think that's a fair result going by what the stats say. Conway scored for Middlesbrough against his former side, of course. Ian Hatcher's playing up front for Middlesbrough. I think he's a bit washed now, to be honest. I don't think he's as good as he was. Whittaker, obviously from Plymouth, very good signing for them. Good win for Bristol City. Yeah, and I think I think they'll just miss out on the playoffs. Another game on Friday night where Burnley tore Sheffield Wednesday apart by beating them by 4-0. Quite a real dominant display from Burnley in this one. I'm not sure how their side is in the Championship. It should be in the Premier League with the likes of Marcus Edwards, Jadon Anthony, and then you got Esteva at the back and Trafford in goal, who was a bit shaky last season in the Premier League, but you could see why Burnley are going to get promoted with the team they've got. Fleming up top, Brownhill, Foster, Shelby, Sarmiento, Benson. It's just an all-round Championship winning team. I'm surprised they're not in the top 2, to be honest, with that squad. They are slightly underachieving under Scott Parker with the amount of 0-0 draws they've had. And I think they will finish 3rd, and they will miss out to Leeds and Sheffield United. Sheffield Wednesday actually had more shots in the game overall. I think Sheffield Wednesday could have got something if they got the equaliser or the early goal. But yeah, I mean, Danny Rowe's doing wonders with basically what is a League One team. So yeah, good from Burnley. Easy win. it wasn't easy, but they found a way to win in the end. And Sheffield Wednesday kind of hanging on to their playoff hopes a little bit, but yeah, good win for Burnley. Derby 0, Millwall 1, another absolutely miserable defeat for Derby, conceding in the 95th minute to Ben Coburn. I think his first name is Ben, correct me if I'm wrong on that one. But yeah, really, Josh Coburn, sorry, I've just checked that. Sorry, it's Josh, not Ben. Josh Coburn, yeah, poor defending on the goal. Keeper parried it out, and then Millwall got the tap. There's shouts of offside in the build-up towards it, but I'm not sure where Derby are going to go from here. They look dead and buried. The bottom three all look dead and buried. Derby are in a bit of trouble at the moment. They definitely, under John Eustace, will stabilise. He's just got to get the right tactics to sort them, as Paul Warren's tactics were a bit naive and a bit similar to John Eustace, but I'm surprised it's took this while to get going. I mean, it was a tight game, unlike the game at QPR where they got absolutely battered in. But yeah, I think Derby, Plymouth and Luton are the ones to go down now, unfortunately for Derby. Because they started the season really well. They were up by mid-table, they're scraping home wins, but since, in that December period, they've just been absolutely dreadful. As for Millwall, outside chance of the playoffs under Alex Neil, good stern appointment that from Millwall back in January, I think it was, when they appointed him. So yeah, Millwall got an outside chance of the playoffs. Don't think they'll get it, but very, very, very poor from Derby, and I think I could definitely see them going down. Plymouth 1, Cardiff 1. Tale of two halves this one. Cardiff took the lead through Select in the 12th minute, but then had Dimitrios Gutas sent off in the 53rd minute. And Plymouth were on top after that. Cardiff were really dominant in that first half. Probably should have scored 2 or 3, added to their goals tally. But Plymouth, after the red card, were pushing. They probably could have got a winner. But I think a point's a fair result for these two sides, because at the end of the day, they've had similar stats. They're down there at the bottom, and if it is one team to go down at the bottom, I think it would be Cardiff out of the bottom 3, but I think the bottom 3 are pretty much getting settled now, although Plymouth's home form, I think, might drag them out of it. We'll have to wait and see. Good result, good point for, well, I say a good point, it's not a good point for either. They'll be looking to win this because Cardiff be looking to put away from the relegation zone. Plymouth be looking to get out of the relegation zone. But yeah, Plymouth 1, Cardiff 1, fair point. Sunderland 0, Hull 1, a big shock as 4th place Sunderland lose at home to Hull. Went down as a Patterson own goal, the goal for Hull, and they took the lead in the 18th minute and pretty much held on all game. Sunderland had the chances in this game. They missed some huge chances, but so did Hull. And yeah, I think Sunderland probably should have walked away with something from this game, but Hull, bit like Birmingham a few seasons ago, where they just drag games and they hold on by the skin of their teeth. That's what some relegation fighting sides are very good at, is holding on, and when they want to get the win, they will get the win. And that is a big 3 points for Hull down at the bottom of the Championship, as they move 3 points clear of the drop after being right on the edge of the relegation zone. They get a big 3 points. As for Sunderland, I think that's 4th place pretty much confirmed for them. They're going to stay there for the rest of this season and can see it happening. Yeah, good result for Hull. Pull away from the relegation race. Coventry 2, Preston 1. We have to commend the job that Frank Lampard is doing at Coventry, really getting them well drilled. And they've been really good since he's come in. They've been superb, and now they're just 1 point off Blackburn Rovers, and you feel Coventry will get into those playoffs. So 2 quick goals from Jack Rodoni and Bobby Thomas to put Coventry into a 2-0 lead. Will Keane got one back for Preston at the end, but it wasn't enough for P&E. Coventry, I genuinely think, will finish in the playoffs now. I definitely could go up with Frank Lampard, because he is a good coach in my opinion. After what happened at Chelsea, where he got them to 4th in a transfer ban with all the kids, and then nearly got Derby promoted with that side, which he probably should have done. Against Villa in that playoff final, after all the work they did against Leeds. Yeah, Frank Lampard's a good coach in my opinion. I think Coventry will comfortably get top 6. As for Preston, they'll just stay in mid-table, low mid-table, about 15th where they are now. Yeah, Coventry really are cooking up a storm, and yeah, they can definitely see them getting in the playoffs, if not, and maybe even going up. Norwich 4, Stoke 2, a 6-goal thriller at Carrow Road. Sargent getting a brace, absolute baller. I don't know where Norwich would be without Sargent and Saints, because they almost carry that Norwich City side, and Norwich back in the chance of a playoff picture here, winning 4-2 against Stoke, and a very good win. Stats are all in Norwich's favour. They deserve the win. Stoke didn't miss any big chances. Yeah, as for Stoke, Mark Robins has gone in there, and no matter what manager goes in at Stoke, they always seem to fail. They should be alright. I think they'll stay up. They'll be absolutely fine. But yeah, problems for Stoke and Mark Robins, because I don't know, I think there's a curse around that football club at the moment. They just seem to struggle with anybody that goes in there. As for Norwich, good win. Keep moving up the table, get closer to the playoffs, and join that race with West Brom, Blackburn, Coventry and Bristol City. So Norwich winning again by 4-2. Portsmouth 2, QPR 1, another big win for Pompey as they climb up the table, and a big win over QPR. Josh Murphy getting the goal as well as Matt Ritchie. You'd think that Pompey can stay up now as they move above Oxford and Stoke in the table. They look good, Pompey. I think they'll stay up now comfortably, and we will get a South Coast derby next year. QPR just mid-table mediocrity again. Thought they were in a relegation battle right at the start of the season. It was Portsmouth and QPR, but both of them have lifted themselves out of the drop zone and are pushing towards mid-table, both of them now. And QPR could have an outside chance at the playoffs, but probably won't get there in the end. But for Portsmouth, I think they're going to be fine under John Mousinho now. They've got the players, they've got the team, they look good, and that's the main thing for them. And yeah, I think Portsmouth will be fine. QPR will just stay mid-table in my opinion. They won't go anywhere near relegation now, and they won't go to the playoffs. So yeah, good win for Portsmouth. They'd definitely are looking to stay up now. Swansea 3, Blackburn 0. Still managerless are Blackburn, and Swansea took full advantage of this one, even though they are managerless too. It was the battle of the two managerless teams, and Swansea absolutely battered Blackburn yesterday. And Blackburn need a head coach. I knew they were flirting around with Aitel Karanka. I don't think he's going to be the head coach now. I'm not sure who's going to be the new Blackburn or Swansea head coach. Russell Martin has been floating with 2 clubs. But for the game itself, Swansea deserved the win. Blackburn were terrible, according to these stats. And yeah, Swansea were very good value for their win yesterday. And Blackburn, they're still in the playoffs. I think every time I look at the championship table, they seem to be in the playoffs. I'm not sure how. John Eustace did a remarkable job before leaving for rubbish Derby at the moment. And yeah, Blackburn won't get playoffs. They will fall off a cliff. They will stay up. They've already stayed up. They've already got the points of last season to stay up. Very good win for Swansea. They're both on a hunt for a manager. So let's see. Yeah, Blackburn aren't going to finish in the playoffs. Swansea will just stay low mid-table, similarly to Preston and QPR, I imagine. West Brom 2, Oxford 0. A nice home win for Tony Mowbray's side, scoring in the 11th minute and then not scoring until the 90 plus 11th minute, which is quite a coincidence, really. Tony Mowbray's side, very good value. Again, they've drew more games than they've won. They will probably get in the playoffs, although they're only 1 point ahead at the moment of the playoff places, but I think they'll stay in the playoffs. They'll definitely stay up, as what I was trying to say there. I think West Brom will be fine for playoffs. They'll just pull away from the Blackburns, and maybe Coventry be between them and Coventry for 5th place, I think. But yeah, Bristol City and Norwich, I think West Brom will be fine under Mogger, and they will get into the playoffs. Stats-wise, Oxford created 5 shots, absolutely nothing created. West Brom, 22 shots, 2.7 XG, very good. And they even missed a big chance, so they could have won this game. Probably by more. Gary Rowett, Oxford, their season won't be defined by that. I think Oxford will be fine. They'll stay up quite comfortably. I think they'll be around that 17th to 20th mark in the table, which is where they are right now. And yeah, that's not going to define Oxford's season, but their form is dreadful. They haven't won since the 21st of January against Luton, so that was a bit shocking. But yeah, good for Oxford. Garrett Round loves the draw. I'm sure they can go back to winning ways soon under him. So let's see. Into Sunday's matches we go, and we start with Watford 2, Luton 0. Luton under Matt Bloomfield are really, really struggling, and they are pretty much down and out now. But with the squad they have, you would back them to stay up quite comfortably and even challenge for promotion. But it's just not been that this season. The first part under Rob Edwards, they were still fighting relegation. They're slightly better under Rob Edwards than they were Matt Bloomfield. But today is just another heart in the wounds moment for Luton. Losing to their local rivals away, not good. Having level pegging on shots, mind you, but yeah, it's not looking good for Luton. They look like they're going to be going down to League One back-to-back relegations. They're going to be doing a Sunderland of the past. Yeah, unfortunately, they've had Morris, Nordas, Asgard, Nakamba, Jones. They have so many quality players up front to Luton, and Kaminsky in goal, Anderson, Bell at the back. It's a playoff team, but I'm not sure what's going wrong there. Is it the attitude of the players, or remember this team was in the Premier League and nearly stayed up against Nottingham Forest, and you look where them two clubs are now. It's ridiculous. Yeah, feel bad for Luton. Again, good win for Watford. Stay in the playoff chasing hopes with Bristol City, Coventry, Norwich, and the rest, and Blackburn as well. Yeah, good Derby Day win for Watford. They get bragging rights again over Luton, which they have had a lot over the last few years. And yeah, that is Watford 2, Luton 0. Mansfield 1, Wrexham 2. Another win for Phil Parkinson's side over Mansfield this afternoon. A big, big win with Birmingham and Wycombe dropping points. Can Wrexham chase down Wycombe and maybe Birmingham if they slip up too? McDonald scored 2 goals, one at his own net and then one for Wycombe, with Cleworth scoring the winner. Max Cleworth scoring the winner for Wrexham, the 22-year-old centre-back, winning the game for Wrexham. It was a fairly even game. Mansfield having 11 shots, Wrexham having 9. Overall, a fairly even game that probably deserved a point out of the two. Probably deserved a point both sides, but Wrexham came out on top in this one. As for Wrexham, they close in on Wycombe. They are now only 3 points off them, which is really interesting for the League One promotion race. And yeah, Mansfield just stay in 15th and just will continue in their mid-table slump. They need to be careful with relegation, with Burton, etc. Closing in on them, but they should. I think Mansfield will be fine because there are definitely 4 worse teams in this league than Mansfield Town Football Club this current season. Now we look at the Sky Bet Championship table after match week 34. And we'll start from the bottom. Luton, rock bottom, really struggling, and they do look down. Derby, also really struggling in 23rd. Them two sides don't look like they're going to stay up. Plymouth have a little bit of hope. Home Park, get it bouncing. They could definitely stay up. Teams we'll worry for is Cardiff, Hull, Stoke, maybe even Oxford with their recent form. I think Portsmouth upwards will be fine. I think Portsmouth, Swansea, Preston, QPR, Middlesbrough don't need to worry about what's going to happen to them. Middlesbrough, I think if they get rid of Carrick and then they bring in another top quality manager, can definitely push later on in the season for the playoffs. Sheffield Wednesday, I think will be mid-table. They won't challenge the playoffs in my opinion. Millwall, same thing. Watford, they're in the playoff race just about. Same with Bristol City. Coventry, I reckon, will get in the playoffs. I think Blackburn are going to tumble like a stone. West Brom, I think, will cement their playoff place and 5th. But only team I can see overtaking them is Coventry, but they will stay in the playoffs in 6th. Sunderland have home banked 4th because they're not going to catch the top 3. And they're not going to lose out to 5th and 6th because they're already 11 points clear of them. Burnley, 9 goals conceded, just incredible defensive stats for Burnley, and their team is too good for the Championship. And then your top 2, who play tomorrow night. We'll do a quick preview for that now. Leeds, I think, are up. I think Leeds and Sheffield United will be the top two come the end of the season. Who I think goes up, I'm not so sure. I think Leeds will win the league. I think tomorrow night, if Sheffield United can win tomorrow night, that will be absolutely monumental because it will open the title fight up and maybe even open the top three door again for Burnley. So I think Burnley will want a Sheffield United win tomorrow. And yeah, so I think the top three are pretty certain for the rest of the league. And Luton Derby, look, relegated. I think the playoffs is still very interesting as always is every single season in the Championship. Now looking at the Sky Bet League One table, we will go from bottom to top. So let's get started with the bottom four. Cambridge, Shrewsbury and Crawley all look dead and buried. It's going to be a very difficult ask for them to survive. Burton have picked up lately under Gary Bowyer. Could definitely see them staying up. Peterborough might slip into the drop zone with the way they're playing at the moment. Bristol Rovers, I think, will be fine under Calderon. Gary Caldwell's Exeter are really struggling. I could see them dropping into the drop zone. Northampton, I think, will be all right with the squad they have with Fosu and Roberts and all the others, etc. I think they will be fine. Wigan definitely look certain. They've lost Asgard, but they're still fine. They're losing a few games now that they have lost their star man, but they should still be fine. Mansfield will stay mid-table, so will Rotherham, so will Lincoln, so will Stevenage. Blackpool, outside chance of the playoffs along with Barnsley. Very, very hopeful attempts if they are to get in there. That they're not going to get in there, I don't think, Blackpool or Barnsley. Reading, from Reading to Bolton to Charlton to Leyton Orient. Reading losing Ruben Sellers, I still don't fully expect to get into the playoffs. Bolton under Stephen Schumacher, I reckon will get in. I think Charlton and Orient, Stockport, just to miss out on those places. I think Birmingham and Wrexham will get top two because they have spent the most money in this league, and Wycombe will fall short in third. And I do think that Huddersfield will go up via the playoffs at Wembley. So yeah, that is that. Thank you very much for watching. Please drop a like, subscribe if you are new, which you will be new as this is only the second video on the channel. Like the video, share with friends, and thanks for watching.